Um, my name is Gloria Post, and I've lived in Lakeview Estates in Middletown for 35 years. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'm going to talk about the expected costs of future regulation of PFAS, which are man-made chemicals that contain carbon and fluorine atoms, and they're often called forever chemicals. These costs were not considered in predicting the cost of the proposed sewer plant. First, for my background, I'm a board-certified PhD toxicologist, and I recently retired after almost 39 years as a research scientist at the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, New Jersey DEP. I worked on emerging environmental contaminants, and PFAS was my main focus for the past 20 years. I'm the author of 10 scientific papers about PFAS, and one of them is a review that, unbelievably, has been cited more than 700 times in other scientific publications. I also served on several national and international PFAS advisory groups, including for the United States Environmental Protection Agency, US EPA, and I'm currently on the World Health Organization's advisory group for PFAS. So when New Jersey DEP first found out about PFAS contamination in New Jersey in 2004, PFAS were not widely known or recognized as a problem. They were on the radar screen of only 2 other states. We had a lot of experience in New Jersey with emerging contaminants and a lot of scientific expertise, and we soon realized that these stood out from all of the other many types of contaminants we dealt with before, and that they pose health effects at very low exposure levels. So fast forward to now, PFAS has become a huge issue in the United States and all around the world. It's constantly in the news, and it's one of the biggest environmental health problems ever. It was even the subject of a Hollywood movie starring Mark Ruffalo, Dark Waters, which I recommend if you haven't seen it. It's a very good movie. But Pennsylvania and many other states as well, and the federal government have been aggressive in setting new regulations for PFAS, specifically in drinking water. And right now, regulation of PFAS at sewage treatment plants is one of the most important issues about PFAS. I wanted to make sure everyone here knows that PFAS are a special concern in the area near the proposed sewer plant, because PFAS levels are exceptionally high in the water and in the fish there. The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, Pennsylvania DEP, and the United States Geological Survey did a study of PFAS in rivers, streams, and lakes throughout all of Pennsylvania. And out of all the 178 locations tested all over the state, the sample from the Chamonix Creek in Langhorne had the highest PFAS levels by far of any of the samples. PFAS are also very high in the fish in this area, and Pennsylvania DEP has issued a do not eat advisory for all fish caught in the Neshaminy Creek Basin, including Neshaminy Creek, Core Creek, and Lake Luxembourg, because of the high levels in the fish. So there are many reasons why PFAS are such a huge public health concern. So I want to make sure you understand why such a big deal is being made out of these chemicals. First of all, they're incredibly stable. They never break down in the environment. That's why they're called forever chemicals. They're detected in almost everyone's blood. They build up in people's bodies over time, and if exposure ends, it takes many years for them to leave the body. There have been more than 1,000 published studies of the health effects of PFAS, and these studies show health risks from even very low PFAS exposure levels. Some of the health effects are decreased response to vaccines, increased cholesterol levels in blood, decreased birth weight in infants, and harmful effects to the liver. Also, US EPA has determined that the two most common types of PFAS increase the risk of certain types of cancer. And very disturbingly, at least to me, PFAS build up in breast milk, and breastfed infants have much higher blood levels than their mothers. This is a big concern because infants and young children are especially sensitive to the effects of PFAS. So the relevant issue for us here tonight is that PFAS are in the wastewater received by sewage treatment plants. The PFAS are in the wastewater that comes from homes, not just in industrial wastewater. Residential sources include PFAS in consumer products that go down the drain or are excreted in human waste. Also, laundering of fabrics coated with PFAS, among other sources. But traditional wastewater treatment does not remove PFAS, and the treatment to remove them is very expensive. So the PFAS remain in the treated wastewater that's released as effluent, and they're also in the solid sludge called biosolids that are taken away for disposal. The biosolids are spread on farmland as fertilizer or put in landfills or incinerated, burned. And PFAS are released into the environment from all of these disposal methods. We now know that there are unacceptable health risks from even very low levels of PFAS in water bodies and biosolids. Specifically, last month in December, US EPA published proposed concentrations for PFAS in lakes, streams, and water that will protect for health risks from drinking the water or eating the fish from the water body. These proposed levels are incredibly low. They're in the parts per quadrillion range. That's really unheard of, very low. When final, these very strict water concentrations will be used nationally to determine PFAS effluent limits for sewage treatment plants. Also, a few weeks ago, US EPA published a draft evaluation of the health risks of PFAS in biosolids or sludge. US EPA determined that the health risks are unacceptable even when the PFAS concentration is lower than what is found in almost all residential and industrial biosolids in the US. These health risks of the biosolids occur because the PFAS in biosolids is disposed by using as fertilizer, and this, when it's spread on the agricultural land, it contaminates the food that's grown on this farmland. Also, PFAS from the farmland and also PFAS put in landfills in the biosolids can contaminate drinking water. And when biosolids are incinerated or burned, the PFAS released to air may create unacceptable health risks. In the future, it will be more expensive to dispose of biosolids in a way that reduces these health risks. Some states are already regulating PFAS in biosolids and or in wastewater, and other states are currently working on setting such regulations. For example, New Jersey plans to propose very strict water quality standards for PFAS very soon. So it's likely that PFAS at sewage treatment plants will also be regulated in Pennsylvania in the not too distant future. And the relative costs of these new regulations will be much higher for small local sewer plants like the one proposed in Newtown than for larger regional facilities. Last thing, and I do not have time to go into detail, as mentioned by Gary Sondermeyer, microplastics are another important emerging contaminant that have highly concerning environmental risks and human health risks. And similar as for PFAS, microplastics are present in wastewater, effluent, and biosolids, and costly regulations at sewer plants are likely on the horizon for them as well. So to sum up, future regulation of these emerging contaminants at sewage treatment plants is likely. These regulations will be expensive, and the relative costs will be much higher for smaller facilities. These expected costs have not been considered so far, and they should be considered when developing cost estimates for the proposed Newtown treatment plant. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak, and I hope my information is helpful. Thank you.